Listen, it's a good team coming on in here. I know what their record says, and I know I've been saying that for it feels like the past few weeks. But you talk about a really talented group who, since they made the quarterback change, you can tell he's really given them a spark. Their offense can score some points, and they have playmakers. And then defensively, this you could argue this is the best defensive front that we've seen so far this year. And so, huge challenge at hand. We're going to have to be on our stuff here again this week, and I know the guys are going to be ready for this challenge. But really, a halfway point of the season was this last week, and so we're excited about what November and December have to hold. This is really where teams start to separate themselves, so they know that, and we're looking forward to this challenge. Go ahead and open it up.
You mentioned halfway point. Where's Caleb compared to kind of the goals you had from the midway point of the season?
Well, I mean, the number one thing is for us to win games, and so we've done that 5 times so far. That's who we are as a team. I do think he's getting better every week. There's ups and there's downs, and some weeks are better than others, which we knew. But he's a lot better place now with his process than he was to start the season. The week isn't necessarily smooth sailing always, but I think that's to be expected with year one in a new system. So he's learning and he's spending a lot of time at it. So I'm very pleased with his approach, and I think we've got the right group of guys around him to help support him. And so I think we're going to continue to see him take off here second half of the season.
Wanting to play your best football in December, how important is it that by the time he gets to December, he's where you want?
Yeah, I think. Well, you saw. We need to be able to win with all 3 phases, and so when one phase isn't doing as well as they're capable of, the other 2 need to be able to pick us up and take us the rest of the way, and that's going to be the name of the game. We got some really good teams coming up on the schedule, starting with this week, and so the better Caleb plays, the better off we're going to be in the long run, obviously. But it's going to take all of us here, and coaches, players. It's going to take all of us this last stretch.
And with the journey your team's on right now, what's the road to creating the killer instinct that you're looking to get out of them in the next step?
Yeah, I think it's just the acknowledgement when we're in those moments. So we've been in it a few times here so far this season, and I think now in real time we'll be able to talk about it on the sideline and make sure that that we take advantage of those opportunities, because you don't know how many times that'll come up, but it's bit us in the rear once and almost did last week, and so we got to make sure we take care of our business when it happens. And the good news is when you have a lead there in the fourth quarter, that means you've done something right there for 3.5 quarters usually, and we just got to make sure that we're finishing the games the right way.
What creates that finish in the good teams you've been around? What creates that finish?
Well, I think it's more of a mindset than anything else that we don't. To me, it's pride. I can speak offensively. Like when the offense is on the field and you have a lead, I don't want another phase to get on the field after that. I want to finish the game with the football. And I think defensively it's the same thing. Let's go ahead and make sure we end this thing and remove all doubt right here and now. So I think it's a pride thing more than anything else. And I think all 3 phases had their opportunities there last week. And we'll see when we get the next chance.
And when you evaluated the final 3-ish minutes of the game in the pass rush and kind of their inability to get after Flacco, and then the move yesterday with Joe coming in, how much do you think that can affect things so late in games those situations won't arise?
Yeah, well, it's a combination of both rush and coverage. You got to combine them both, and there's times that we'll bring our 4-man rush and. We need to get some pressure on the quarterback because we're playing coverage, and at other times we're going to bring some pressure ourselves, and we got to hold up on the back end. And so the balance between the 2, we didn't strike that right chord. Flacco's a really smart player. He's been around for a long time. He knew where he was going to go with that football. I thought we got him on a couple reps, but it's just that you give him that many opportunities, he was able to find some open receivers and extend the drives. So. Thought we had some 3rd downs and some 4th downs that we just didn't take advantage of as a defense. So, pass rush certainly will help. We're kind of low in numbers there in that D-line room, and so adding Joe into the equation should hopefully give us a little boost here for the second half.
With Cal's performance on Sunday, is that a sense of just having increased confidence in what he can do when you do call his number, or is there a sense like we have to create more opportunities to get him game reps because of what we've seen him do?
Yeah, I listen. I think he took full advantage of the opportunity at hand. Him and really Britton as well. Britton did a nice job running the ball also. So I've got a lot of confidence in all those guys, all the runners. I got a lot of confidence in our pass catchers. I think we have the ability to move the ball a number of different ways on offense. Each week's going to have a different story. But yeah, hopefully they feel a little bit of competition amongst themselves to make it clear to the coaching staff that you need to get the ball in my hands, and that's a good thing.
What are your thoughts on Colston winning Player of the Week, and also what he was able to contribute Sunday, and even looking ahead going forward with him?
Yeah, it's well deserved. I thought he came through for us, and it really wasn't the first week that he's done that. We've kind of put him in some positions there throughout the season so far where fourth quarter and we needed to close the game out, and the ball tended to find his hands, and so I think he's that type of guy. I think he's, when called upon, he's going to answer it, and the bigger the moment, I think he's going to rise to the occasion. So he did a great job there last week. I think it's a good stepping stone for us. He's exactly what we thought we were acquiring when we drafted him, and so I'm very pleased with that.
Ben, Ryan sounded like you two had productive conversations around the trade deadline. What kind of input did you give him, and how comfortable are you with your D-line depth?
Well, yeah, he was turning over every stone in looking for ways to improve our roster both this year and in future years, and so I thought we had some really healthy dialogues on what we wanted that to look like, and as we're building this thing on out, and so it was good. I feel really good about the move we made, and I think our guys will step up as we get going here in the second half of the season. I think Sweat's starting to come on. I thought Book had a good start there to the second half with that first game, and so I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot here up front.
And when you watch the all 22 of the touchdown pass from Caleb to Colston, did you identify in that play the Darnell Wright celebratory cartwheel?
I did. I thought it was pretty awesome. Yeah, I call him the unicorn for a reason. He does some things that are pretty extraordinary. So we got to continue to highlight what he can do with or without the ball himself. So he's another guy that he's playing really good football right now. It's good to see excitement like that. I thought the whole crew they were super fired up. Not only to win the game, but to do it in that type of fashion. Like I said, we hadn't done that as an offense yet, and we were just kind of waiting for a moment to, get some yards and some points when we needed to. And so I thought it was a really good boost there for our offense.
What's gotten better for him? What's improved over the course of the season? And what have you thought of him playing through what I assume is still an injured elbow?
Yeah, no, I mean, really prideful in how he goes about his business. The fact that he's out there, he didn't want to come out when it happened, even though it was pretty obvious when you watched the tape that it was a factor, a few games ago on him. So he's a tough guy. I think the biggest thing to me is he's been a very consistent player since the season started. You knew what the talent was going to be. I saw it coming out of Tennessee. I loved the player coming out of Tennessee myself. You just wondered, hey, is he going to be able to put it all together? And I feel like Coach Rochar and Kyle Devan and those guys have done a really good job of helping him. I think Jonah Jackson being next to him, Joe Tooney being in that room, I think that's gone a long way for him. I don't want to say learning how to be a pro. He's been in this league now for a minute, and so he knows what that looks like. But he comes to work every single day, and he knows when to crack a joke and smile, and yet he can snap it back in and be serious in a hurry too, which I think it's the balance that we want all of our guys to have. So I'm just really proud of how consistent he's been from the start of the season up until this point.
What you got? 2 more.
This kind of halfway point of the season, what do you think you've learned just about the group that you have?
Well, I think the number one thing was just how resilient we've been throughout these games. You brought it up to him when I first came in, just this particular team in years past would find ways to lose games, and now we're finding ways to win games. And so I think they're looking to change that narrative. And now that we've done that, we've got to continue to develop that killer instinct, as Dan alluded to. So we're gonna continue to get better there. But I think it's a really good group. I can't say enough good things about our locker room. I mean, we really have zero issues with discipline or anything of that nature. These guys just want to come out and play ball and win games and be there for their teammates. So usually you got some bad apples in there, but we really don't. We have just a a really strong locker room. I think they continue to grow, and the camaraderie continues to strengthen, and hopefully we'll see dividends from that here in the next couple months.
Ben, did you see,
You guys took a swing on Dango's potential injuries, unfortunate, but what great games, how do you assess what he was able to bring to the defense?
Oh shoot, I haven't had a chance to reflect on that wholly yet. I do know he was a force there in the run game. I felt like he had come through. He had a high motor, which is something that we're certainly going to miss. Very dependable player, knew what to do, and so and then we were trying to get him, now that we got Book back, to the inside for a little bit more interior pass rush, where we felt like he had a lot of value, and so it's a shame that we're not going to be able to see that to the extent that we had hoped. But yeah, no, I thought through 8 games that he filled a key role for what we were doing on defense. Thank you.